Hi! Welcome to Off Camera, hosted by Camille and Naomi. In this week's episode, we will be talking about Eurocentric beauty standards. Specifically, how do current white Eurocentric beauty standards affect the mental health of Black women, ages 15 to 21 in Toronto?
And how does the impact of Eurocentric beauty standards in the hiring process affect young Black women between the ages of 15 to 21?
We did our placement at Black Talent Initiative, where Camille and I were introduced to branding and social media marketing. We were also able to receive a hands-on, interactive learning experience by attending marketing meetings, creating posts, and contributing new ideas. For those of you who don't know the company, because it only was launched in 2020, I think, it's pretty new. This company's primary focus is to uplift Black individuals by helping them become employed members of society.
Also introducing companies to new and fresh Black talent that deserve an opportunity to succeed in their career. We chose the medium of a podcast because we wanted to practice our communication skills. Also, we wanted to experience what it's like to produce a podcast.
Eurocentric standards? What is the beauty standard? Blonde hair? Colored eyes? Thin build? Button nose? White skin? Look familiar? Sound familiar? Well, it should be, because this Eurocentric beauty standard is all that's been pushed to the front lines of media for years and years. Hundreds of years, actually.
Eurocentric beauty standards are meant to exclude racialized groups, young Black women in particular. This, in turn, undervalues the beauty Black women behold.
This has led to millions of young Black women to unfortunately struggle with mental health for a long time.
This Western ideal is being used against Black women in the hiring process and in the workplace as well. Young Black women have a lower chance of being selected for their desired work field in comparison to other racialized groups. First, let's talk about how behavioral stereotypes affect young Black women in the hiring process. Westernized culture displays women of a lighter complexion as being more polite and restrained, while those of a darker complexion are thought to be more impolite and aggressive. An employer who is influenced by such stereotypes will be persuaded to use this against the applicants. Texturism in the hiring process. The notion that Black people have short, unclean, wild hair has widely been displayed through the media. It is deemed as socially unacceptable to wear our hair in its natural state. There have been countless instances where Black women were not able to begin the interviewing process because of their hair. As a result, if a Black woman wore her natural hair in an interview, she would be deemed as unprofessional and unkempt. Amongst my findings, one CTV news article caught my eye. It reported that unemployment for Black women remains one of the highest compared to other racialized groups present in Canada today. Their unemployment rates reached 13.4%. Systematic disadvantages have reinforced the eminent effects of Eurocentric beauty standards. We must work to deconstruct the Western beauty ideals present in the system today.
Now, to refresh your memory, my research question is, how do current white Eurocentric beauty standards affect the mental health of Black women ages 15 to 21 in Toronto? I chose that question from what I see a lot on social media. I see a lot of women of color talk about getting plastic surgery because their ethnic feature doesn't fit into the Eurocentric beauty standard. For example, you see a lot of girls getting nose jobs nowadays, and there is this trend to see if you were eligible for health insurance to get your nose job covered. It was if you looked up, you could tell if you have a deviated septum or not and get it fixed. Yeah. And then girls also wonder if a guy would even consider dating them because they aren't white, which is pretty sad. Hence, I wanted to do a lot more research on how Eurocentric beauty standards affect Black women's mental health. I did an interview with 3 participants. They all fit the demographic of 15 to 21, Black representing women living in Toronto. I found that my interview participants' mental health was affected greatly by Eurocentric beauty standards. They all currently have or had self-esteem issues. However, as they got older, they all started to further accept themselves and become more confident. The Eurocentric beauty standard is centered around white women and their beauty, which leaves Black women to feel and be treated inferior by society when they cannot reach those unrealistic expectations. One of my participants said, if you fit Eurocentric beauty standards, you'll be treated better, more guys show interest, you get more jobs, and you're treated with more respect overall. Due to this, some Black women try to conform to the Eurocentric beauty standard. One example I could think of right now is just like skin bleaching. It's like a booming industry still in the year 2022. And then another example is trying to get straight hair when your hair is naturally curly. It's only when you do this to fit in. Yeah. One of my participants said, due to being in a predominantly white school, I tried to change myself to fit in. For example, straightening my hair, but sadly, that didn't work. This quote is important because it showcases how my participant tried to change herself for the approval of her white classmates. It also demonstrates the insecurity that young Black women develop from lack of representation. Lastly, and most importantly, all my participants later learned to love themselves a little more because for many of them, they started hanging around more people who looked like them. Also, in the year 2022, we're more connected than ever before. So it's a lot easier to be exposed to media with beautiful, gorgeous, stunning people who look like you. In conclusion, I found that in Toronto, Black women ages 15 to 21 mental health are negatively impacted by the white Eurocentric beauty standard because of lack of representation, opportunities, and respect given by society.
Methodology. I decided to conduct a literature review. I wanted to gain a deeper understanding of my topic through the analyzing of various pieces of literature. I looked for pieces of literature that spoke about the effects of Eurocentric beauty standards and how they can affect the lives of young Black women in serious ways. I gathered my information from various news articles and reports.
I decided to conduct an interview. At first, I wanted to conduct a survey, but when I was brainstorming survey questions to ask my participants, they ended up being interview questions. So I was just like, okay, let's do an interview. So that's what I did.
Our recommendations. Social acceptance and other forms of validation should not only be accessible to those who fit Eurocentric beauty standards. The media we consume must showcase more Black beauty and excellence. Greater awareness of this issue must occur, and this can be achieved by social events and inclusion in media representation.
What I would recommend to help lessen the effects of Eurocentric beauty standards on female Black youth's mental health in Toronto is more representation in the media to help push the idea that everyone is beautiful no matter the race. Also, we should stop valuing women based on looks, since many people in my interview thought that they weren't treated with respect if they weren't considered the beauty standard, which is true, in society. Like, you're treated a lot better if you're, pretty, mainly for female. Yeah. We are your hosts, Naomi and Camille, and thank you for listening to our podcast, Off Camera. XOXO. Bye. Oh yeah, thank you so much to the BSSLP staff and the Black Talent Initiative team for making this summer possible for both me and Camille. It's been a wonderful experience and I appreciate it so much. So yeah, thank you. Bye.